Mel Brooks, the icon of American comedy, remains a sharp and witty mind at 99 years old. For over half a century, his classic satirical Western film, Blazing Saddles, stirred up cinemas, redefined the comedy genre, and faced considerable controversy. But what really happened on the set of this insane masterpiece? And why, almost a century later, has Brooks only now decided to reveal the shocking secrets buried deep within Hollywood history? The genesis of Blazing Saddles. The initial idea for the film Blazing Saddles came from writer Andrew Bergman, who envisioned a satirical Western comedy about racism. He named the black sheriff character Tex X, in homage to Malcolm X, and to break Hollywood's white hero archetype. This audacious concept quickly caused shock and was rejected by major studios due to its sensitive content. Before Mel Brooks became involved, the project went through many ups and downs, with Alan Arkin eyed to direct and James Earl Jones for the lead role. However, creative conflicts and executive concerns led the project to be shelved. Fortunately, when Mel Brooks was facing financial difficulties after the failure of his previous film, Warner Bros. Handed him the Tex X script. Brooks, in a desperate situation, accepted. This risky decision not only salvaged his career, but also transformed Blazing Saddles from a forgotten script into a comedic masterpiece, propelling Brooks to fame and redefining the comedy genre. Difficult development process. When Mel Brooks took over the project, he wanted to transform Tex X into something entirely new and audacious. Brooks assembled a talented writing team including Andrew Bergman, Richard Pryor, Norman Steinberg, and Alan Uger. The scriptwriting process was chaotic, marked by fierce arguments, leading to a first draft that spanned an astonishing 412 pages. Richard Pryor played a pivotal role, bringing an authentic and bold voice that helped shape the characters and add classic lines, particularly in the development of the character Mongo. It was from this creative chaos that the iconic campfire farts scene was born, which was not just a crude joke, but a groundbreaking statement. Mel Brooks enforced a "no polite script" rule, encouraging his team to directly confront racism, mock stereotypes, and challenge taboos. This blend of comedy from diverse backgrounds created Blazing Saddles' unique, biting satirical tone, pushing boundaries, and making it an uncompromising comedic masterpiece. Finding the cast for Blazing Saddles was a challenging journey. Mel Brooks wanted Richard Pryor for the role of Sheriff Bart, but Warner Bros. Refused due to Pryor's personal history. Nevertheless, Pryor still contributed to the scriptwriting, and the role ultimately went to Cleavon Little, who performed the character brilliantly. Brooks also had the crazy idea of inviting legend John Wayne to play the Waco Kid, but Wayne declined, finding the film's content too dirty for his image. Later, Dan Daly also turned down the role due to vision problems. The real disaster occurred when Gig Young was hired. He showed up drunk on the first day of shooting and was fired. In desperation, Brooks called Gene Wilder. Wilder immediately accepted the role, and his explosive chemistry with Cleavon Little became the soul of the film, turning Blazing Saddles into a classic about friendship, overcoming all racial barriers. After a grueling production process, Blazing Saddles faced its final hurdle: skepticism from Warner Bros. Itself. The first test screening for executives was a disaster, as they were horrified by the audacious content and demanded cuts of sensitive scenes. However, Mel Brooks adamantly refused to change anything, protecting his artistic vision. In a desperate effort, Brooks organized a second screening for all studio employees. A miracle happened. The room erupted with laughter, saving the film and proving its appeal. Although the studio remained cautious and released it restrictively in 3 major cities, Blazing Saddles quickly sold out and generated massive buzz. Despite mixed reviews from critics, audiences flocked to theaters. With a budget of only $2.6 million, the film grossed a colossal $119.6 million in North America, becoming the #1 film of 1974. Adjusted for inflation, its estimated gross is nearly $600 million, confirming that Mel Brooks' faith in his instincts was entirely justified. Mysterious details. Blazing Saddles is not just a series of jokes. It's a masterful work of satirical art, woven with hidden details, clever wordplay, and audacious rule-breaking that only a mind like Mel Brooks could create. This is why the film continues to be analyzed and hotly debated even today. One of the deepest hidden details lies in the name of the corrupt and idiotic governor, William J. Lepetamine. This name is not accidental. It's a direct reference to Joseph Pujol, a famous French performer from the late 19th century known by the stage name Lepetamine, literally, the farting man. Pujol had the unique ability to control his abdominal muscles to fart on demand, even creating melodies and sound effects with air from his rectum. Brooks naming the governor after a performer with such a unique talent is a subtle tribute to a legend of physical comedy and graceful vulgarity. It also reflects the governor's character, a pretentious figure with inner rottenness, and serves as an affirmation of the film's unapologetically crude comedic style. Not just the director and co-writer, Mel Brooks also appeared in Blazing Saddles in various roles, showcasing his versatility and adding his signature layers of humor. Brooks played Governor William J. Lepetamine with a ridiculous appearance and a weak, greedy personality. More notably, he also played a Yiddish-speaking Native American chief. This scene is an incredibly clever multi-layered joke. A Native American chief speaking Yiddish, the traditional language of Jewish people, is a complete subversion of all Hollywood stereotypes about savage Native Americans and a hilarious nod to Brooks's Jewish heritage. It satirizes both racial prejudice and the absurdity of classic Western films. Additionally, Brooks also provided voiceovers for several supporting characters. He voiced background singers and even a heckler in the chaotic final fight scene. This demonstrates Brooks's tight control over every aspect of the film, while also showing his fondness for participating in the jokes himself. One of the most prominent and shocking characteristics of Blazing Saddles is its deliberate use of anachronism. The film is set in the Old West, in 1874, but continuously introduces elements from later eras, creating humorous absurdity and breaking the illusion of history. A typical example is the appearance of the Count Basie Orchestra performing April in Paris, a song from the 1930s, right in the middle of the 1874 desert, when jazz hadn't even existed yet. Or a cowboy mentioning televised sports programs, a concept that wouldn't have been possible at that time. The peak of rule-breaking is the final fight scene. The brawl explodes beyond the boundaries of the set, breaking the fourth wall, transitioning to a Hollywood soundstage, a musical number, and finally a cafeteria. This isn't just a joke, it's a bold statement from Brooks. He wanted to say that this wasn't just an ordinary cowboy comedy. It was a comedy disguised as a Western, and it wouldn't be limited by any genre conventions. The Count Basie Orchestra scene is a prime example of Brooks's genius in combining silliness with profound messages. The sudden appearance of this legendary jazz orchestra in the arid 1874 desert, performing one of their iconic pieces, their 1955 arrangement of April in Paris, is a visual and auditory shock for the audience. Basie played himself, making the scene even more surreal. This scene wasn't just a laugh-out-loud joke, it was a powerful statement against old stereotypes and audience expectations. It was an impossible cultural mashup, a confrontation between past and present, and an affirmation that in Mel Brooks's world, anything is possible and there are no limits to imagination. This is how Brooks used comedy to comment on history, on racism, and on the film industry itself. Why did Mel Brooks keep silent? Undeniably, Blazing Saddles is a milestone in the history of comedic cinema. But accompanying its glory were ceaseless controversies, especially concerning its use of sensitive language and imagery. These very issues are likely the main reason why Mel Brooks, for many years, rarely publicly discussed the film's tumultuous behind-the-scenes until he reached an age where all reservations seemingly vanished. One of the most shocking and controversial elements of Blazing Saddles was its open and repeated use of the N-word. Initially, even Mel Brooks felt hesitant. He understood that including the word in the film was an enormous risk and could provoke strong backlash. However, Richard Pryor, as an African-American and a comedian known for his racial frankness, adamantly asserted its necessity. Pryor argued that to truly satirize and undermine racism, they had to depict it authentically, as it existed in society at the time. Ignoring it or softening it would only weaken the message. Pryor believed that by bringing the word into the light in a humorous and satirical way, the film would strip it of its power. Pryor's intervention wasn't just on the linguistic aspect, but also deeply influenced the casting of Cleavon Little for the lead role. Pryor believed in Little's ability and urged Brooks to give him the opportunity. This bold decision, while bringing laughter and a profound message, was also a double-edged sword, making the film a target of much criticism and causing Mel Brooks to be very cautious when speaking about it in later years. And here's the crux of the matter. Mel Brooks has repeatedly stated that political correctness is the death of comedy. For him, comedy needs to be free, uncensored, and unafraid to touch upon the most uncomfortable subjects to truly be funny and convey its message. He believes that if you start controlling what can or cannot be included in comedy, you kill its creativity and its ability to challenge reality. Brooks also asserted that a film like Blazing Saddles could not be made today. In the current climate of sensitivity and concerns about offense and insult, such a frank film would never pass modern censorship and production stages. So why did he remain silent for decades and only now choose to reveal everything? Perhaps, at 99 years old, Mel Brooks has reached a point in his life where he has nothing left to lose, nothing left to fear. He has witnessed societal transformations, changes in how comedy is perceived, and the rise of political correctness. In this context, his speaking out is not just recounting memories, but also a final declaration of his creative philosophy. Brooks always believed that Blazing Saddles embraced discomfort, the derogatory words, the stereotypes, so that laughter could disarm hatred. He didn't make the film to offend, but to satirize, to expose the absurdity of prejudice. His silence may have been to avoid unnecessary controversies in the past, protecting the film and its message from misunderstandings. Now, in his twilight years, Brooks feels he has enough power and credibility to speak the truth, not only about what happened on set, but also about his comedic philosophy and Blazing Saddles' role in reshaping how we view laughter and satire. This belated confession isn't just simple behind-the-scenes stories. It's a powerful reminder of the courage needed to create challenging art, and of the value of laughter in confronting society's most troubling issues. At 99, Mel Brooks has finally broken his silence about the making of Blazing Saddles, not just to recount anecdotes, but to reaffirm his artistic philosophy. The film, from its audacious Tex-X idea to its chaotic production and ceaseless controversies, is a testament to the courage of a director who dared to push the boundaries of comedy. Through Blazing Saddles, Brooks proved that laughter, however crude or shocking, can be the most powerful tool to confront social prejudices. His speaking out now is a reminder that genuine comedy needs freedom, unafraid of discomfort, to expose truth and disarm hatred with laughter itself.